have love for the whole association of brothers. These words were written down nearly 2,000 years ago. But we need them now more than ever. How can we love something as vast as a global brotherhood? And in this loveless world, how can we make sure that our love never fades? When we were baptized, we formally became part of this brotherhood. Our hearts were full of joy. But as the years pass, it is only too easy to lose sight of why we love this brotherhood. Let's remind ourselves. Consider 3 things that our brotherhood is doing. It is busy in the preaching work. It comes to the aid of those in need. It gathers together to worship Jehovah God. First, you can find our brotherhood preaching the good news of God's kingdom wherever you go in the world. Jesse is preparing to go out in the field ministry.
You got everything?
I think so. I'm all packed up and ready to go.
Well, there's your coffee.
Well,
You
thank
gonna
you.
call me tonight?
But why all the luggage? He lives in Alaska, a vast region more than twice the size of France. Many people there live in areas so remote that there is only one way to reach them: by airplane.
There are no roads on 50% of that territory. It is desolation. There's not even a trail, but there's about 200 villages with Eskimo, Indian, Athabascan, Shimshan, Tlingit tribes, probably 70-some thousand people scattered in those areas.
Hey, let me show you here. The reason why
The brothers carefully select the villages to be visited. They prepare the airplane and recruit a crew of pilots and publishers for a 2, 3, or 4-day trip.
I'm a professional pilot. That's what I do for a living. So there's a certain thrill with flying, but yet at the same time, that part is just a job. I think what I really enjoy is the ministry. Being able to reach people out in these remote areas and, you know, bring the truth to them.
You're going over empty spaces where you don't see a living soul, and you wonder, what is this village going to be like? So it's a spirit of anticipation. What is it going to be like when you land?
The local people are often suspicious of men in formal or business attire, so the brothers make an exception to our usual standard and dress informally for these visits.
First, they have to get to know you. They want to know, why are you there? Once they understand that you're there bringing them a message from the Bible, then they kind of open up.
And we try to show them basic truths in the Bible, like Psalms 83:18 or John 17:3. We'll leave our address and phone number. That way, we encourage them to try to call us or try to write us so that we can study with them.
Of course, this type of witnessing has its challenges as well. Unsanitary conditions, swarms of mosquitoes, or even worse.
Almost every householder told us, watch out for the bears, because the bears were there that morning. And this is really something you have to be careful of.
Such challenges only draw the brothers closer together.
Literally, they were mosquitoes have found them.
Get a common bond between the brothers, and it's a very upbuilding experience.
Little by little, we've been getting through it so we can say now we've covered all the territory with the good news at least one time. In several places, 2 times, and in some places, our 3rd visit has taken place.
This witnessing that we do up here helps me appreciate that we are fulfilling that Bible prophecy in Matthew 24:14 about preaching the good news to all the inhabited earth. Because that's what we're doing up here. These are remote areas, and the society is making sure that they're getting done.
Our brotherhood has found that in this sophisticated European city, as in so many others, most people are somewhat apathetic about the Bible's message. The members of one congregation, however, are assigned to preach exclusively in a very different kind of territory: the vast harbor of Antwerp. The brothers arrive at the docks before the ships are open for boarding. They use this time to witness to the truck drivers who come from many lands to service the harbor. Then it's on to the ships.
Well, I was very excited, I remember that, but I was also scared because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how it worked, preaching on the ship.
The witnesses expect to meet people of all races and speaking almost any language.
Sometimes there are 10 nationalities on board. Can you imagine 10 nationalities?
Sailors from faraway or little-known countries are often amazed to see literature in their own language. On the ships, the witnesses find a very receptive audience.
Ils comprennent que face à la force de l'eau, face à la force de la nature, il y a un Dieu qui pourrait les protéger.
I never met a seaman who was an atheist, never.
The Watchtower Society's videos make an effective tool for witnessing in this territory.
Et ça nous est déjà arrivé de voir des personnes, par exemple, une quinzaine de personnes qui ont décidé de regarder 3 vidéos, par exemple, 3 vidéos de leur choix. Et après, on a eu tellement de questions.
In this ever-changing territory, how can the brothers make return visits on interested people? The local newspaper tells which ships will be in port each week. So when the brothers meet an interested sailor, they carefully record which ship he works on so that they can find him again. Before long, they bring their students to congregation meetings. In just the first 3 years since the congregation was formed, over 1,400 sailors from 41 lands visited the meetings. On average, 5 new Bible studies are started each month.
One man was really eager to become a witness. He just read one magazine. He said, this is the truth. He started talking to the other ones. So we came on the ship, and this man was preaching. He said, well, I need books, I need books.
One day I went to the ship, and in the country, the witnesses were banned. And we visited the ship 3 evenings. And the last evening, we stayed to 1:30 in the night, preaching the good news. When we left the ship, the whole crew came on deck, and they were all shouting, "By Jehovah's Witness, till we see you in the paradise."
From the first ship we ever did, we really fell in love with these people.
It is the mightiest river in the world. But the Amazon River is also a thoroughfare, a liquid highway stretching nearly 4,000 miles from the highlands of Peru across Brazil to the Atlantic. In the dense jungles of Peru, the Amazon enables our brotherhood to reach people with the good news. Special pioneers have moved to this region, one of the remotest and most rugged in the world, in order to preach to the people. The river brings them right into some villages. Sometimes they are able to witness without even leaving their boat. Other villages, though, can only be reached on foot.
Es bastante hospitalaria, ¿no? Uno puede pasar a la casa y puede reunir a la familia, a todos. Todos se sientan ahí para escuchar, ¿no?
Sometimes the villagers simply gather up their children and ask the pioneers to hold a Bible class. At this village, the chief is a return visit. The brothers preach to him in Spanish, and he translates the message for the benefit of his people. The brothers also find a receptive audience at a local leper colony.
Por el río Amazonas, conociendo a veces a nativos, a personas que no han escuchado acerca de Dios. Entonces, poder llegar hacia ellos la verdad es una experiencia muy bonita.
The pioneers readily admit that this territory has its hardships.
Bueno, cuando vamos a predicar adentro del monte, muchas veces quizás las serpientes.
Calor fuerte y calor que es a veces hasta la noche, el que no haya luz, agua.
Sería la soledad, ¿no? Luchar contra la soledad, ya que uno está lejos de la familia.
But where others might see only problems, these pioneers see solutions.
El dar estudios bíblicos a las personas. Ellos llegan a ser parte de nuestra familia. Trato de verlos como mis futuros hermanos y estoy muy allegados a ellos siempre para que eso pueda acortar un poco la soledad que tengo.
A las señoras se hacen mis amigas, pueden contarme sus problemas y trato de ayudarles.
Y cuando vemos que las personas vienen al Salón del Reino, uno se olvida del calor, de las dificultades, porque obviamente Jehová nos bendice en el trabajo que estamos haciendo.
Gracias a Jehová, por lo menos hasta ahora estoy conduciendo más de 20 estudios bíblicos y 50% van al Salón del Reino.
Solamente son 3 testigos de Jehová de la zona y nosotros 2 precursores especiales y han asistido 89 personas a la conmemoración.
Es un gran privilegio para mí el estar trabajando para la obra del reino aquí, en esta parte del país, del Perú. Pero el saber que muchos hermanos también lo están haciendo en distintas partes de la tierra, eso realmente nos anima a nosotros, el que no estamos solo trabajando.
They are far from alone. All over the world, the Brotherhood is busy in this same work. Witnesses who live in the cities and larger villages of Mozambique regularly travel to remote rural areas. They carefully plan their visits according to the seasons. This enables them to reach hardworking farmers and their families. Worldwide, our brotherhood is working shoulder to shoulder, preaching to people wherever they may be found. Are you taking part in the preaching work where you live? You may feel that what you do is rather ordinary. But when you preach, however and wherever you do it, you are taking part in the same wonderful work. You're doing a work that draws you closer to your brothers and sisters. A work that reaches people and saves lives. A work that pleases Jehovah God. Passers-by barely notice this spot. Just an empty lot in a bustling Japanese city. To one of our brothers, though, this place is full of meaning.
127年間ここに暮らしていました。そこで妻と2人の娘と高貴な生活を送っていたんですが。
On January 17th, 1995, Takao Jinguji, like so many others in Kobe, Japan, saw his whole world turned upside down.
地震が起きた時、最初の一揺れで大きな揺れだったんですが、それが何が起きたのか全く分かりませんでした。次の瞬間、寝返りを打って 妻の方に手を伸ばして、妻も手を伸ばしましてタッチすることができましたが、次のもう揺れの時はお互いに手を引っ込めました。
Of the 5,500 killed in the quake, 13 were Jehovah's Witnesses and 2 were unbaptized associates. The quake left over 300,000 homeless. 350 homes of Jehovah's Witnesses were destroyed or severely damaged. Kotoyo, the oldest of 3 children, waited in mounting fear as the rubble of her home was cleared away. Her parents were missing.
男の人の手が見えたとか言い出して、もうその時にはもうなんか下に2人がいたんだってことが。
Kunio Tsunasawa, an elder, was at the children's side when the parents were found.
医師は一生懸命人工呼吸をしてくださったんですけれども、息を吹き返すことがなくて、お父さんとお母さんと両方亡くなってしまいました。
Takao Jinguji crawled from this rubble, battered and bruised, desperate to find his wife and daughter.
妻と娘が下敷きになっているところがもう火の海になっていきました。消火活動もしてくださいましたけど、水がありませんし、消火器もありませんし、もうなすすべもなく、ただ呆然と見ているだけの状態でした。言うならば即死の状態であったことが逆に私の救いとなっていると言ってもあります。非常に落ち着いておれた状態はエヴァの後ろ盾があったことを本当に感じています。
Even in the worst of moments, the brothers and sisters were there to support one another.
父と母が、を出す時にもうすでに綱沢兄弟と姉妹が近くにいてくださって、2人を遺体安置所に持っていくまでの間ずっとこう手を握ってくれて、もう姉妹も何も言えないって感じだったんですけど、でも気持ちだけはすごく伝わってきて。
In the face of all this devastation, the Brotherhood launched the relief work immediately.
次になされたのが、支援側の巡回区にいくつかのポイントを決めて、報告会館決めて、そこに救援物資を、水とか食料、基本的な食料をすぐに集めるようにという、そういう指示が出されました。
Takao Jinguji had just lost his wife and daughter. Still, he joined the relief work.
そうした活動を十分に行うことができていたのは確かにエヴァの力があったことをよく感じています。
Within days, brothers from the branch near Tokyo were at the disaster site. Quake victims were deeply moved. The relief work soon progressed from providing food and water to protecting damaged homes from the elements.
でその時もずっとその様子を地域の人々は見ていたもんですから、どこから来てるんや、あんたの宗教かとか言った人もいます。
Spiritual needs were among the first addressed. Shepherding calls, Christian meetings, and the preaching work continued uninterrupted.
復活ということもあるわけですから、そうしたことも述べ伝えることによって、亡くなられた方々のその心を癒すことができたら、この体験が生かされるんじゃないかなと思います。
In one relief program, quake victims were taken by bus to an assembly hall facility where they were given a clean room to spend the night, a hot bath, and all the supplies they needed. They also attended a meeting and went in field service in an undamaged territory.
で帰りもきちんと家まで車で送り届けてくださるというすごく親切な取り決めだったと思います。
The Nagais, a disabled pioneer couple in Kobe, opened their tiny apartment for use as a kingdom hall.
この家に最高72名の人々が集まって集会を開いたっていう
そういう場所で用いてくださって、兄弟たちはその集まる場所がなかったので、とても感謝されていました。
The brothers endeavored to help all whom they could, including non-witnesses.
そして神戸で一番大きな神戸大学の附属病院、ここに布団や毛布やお米やたくさんの食料品だけでなくておやつまで兄弟たちがご親切に届けてくださったのを分かち合うことができました。
The earthquake continued to take its toll for years afterward.
もう3年も経ちましたけれども、地震のことを思い出さない日は一日もありません。
However, quake survivors have drawn great comfort from staying close to Jehovah and the worldwide brotherhood.
やはりそうした悲しさ、寂しさ、辛さで時として自分自身が弱る時はもちろんありました。しかしそうした時でもその集会に出席すること、あるいはまた個人的に聖書を読んで、あるいは雑誌を読んで、そこから慰めを得るということが大きな励ましとなっていました。
日本中から私たちのことを心配して手紙を送ってくださったり、小さなメモとか精神的にもうそういう励みを得ることができました。
兄弟姉妹たちが仕事のことも考えずにその時間を用いて私たちの救援活動をしてくださったということについてやはり愛を感じています。
Kotoyo had lost her parents, but she was soon part of a new family. Some months after the earthquake, brother and sister Tsunasawa invited her and her siblings to come live with them.
力づけられたというか頑張らないといけないって思いました。
会衆の皆さんたち、あるいは他の会衆の兄弟姉妹たちがそうした言葉で励ましてくださることによって私の気持ちが和らいで本当に大きな慰めとなりました。兄弟がこうして集会に来てその顔を見るだけでも励まされますとおっしゃったことが私の気持ちを非常に和らげてくださったことを今も強く感じています。
The earthquake had devastated a city, but the brotherhood emerged stronger than ever.
本当に兄弟姉妹たちがイエスが言われたように同じような仕方で兄弟姉妹を愛しているんだなということをすごく感じることができました。
この組織に乗ってよかったなというふうに思っております。
The decade of the 1990s saw many disasters. In August 1992, Hurricane Andrew caused tremendous damage. Our brotherhood was praised for its relief efforts. A local newspaper commented, "No one is slamming doors on the Jehovah's Witnesses this week, even if they have doors to slam." About 3,000 witness volunteers from across the country have converged on the disaster area. First to help their own, then to help others. The paper added, any military organization might envy the witnesses' precision, discipline, and efficiency. The worst disasters of the 1990s were man-made. In 1994, ethnic hatred and civil war ripped apart the countries of Rwanda and Burundi. Hundreds of thousands were killed. Refugees numbered well over 1 million. Similar troubles have plagued Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Congo. Among Jehovah's Witnesses, such disasters have meant death for hundreds, poverty, disease, homelessness, and hunger for thousands more. The Brotherhood works hard to come to their aid. During one relief effort in July 1994, witnesses in France, Switzerland, and Belgium contributed over $1,600,000 to a fund for their brothers in Rwanda and Burundi. Notified of the need on a Friday, the brothers in Europe shipped 35 tons of relief provisions by the following Wednesday. More recently, witnesses in Europe gathered more than 400 tons of relief supplies to ship to their brothers in Kinshasa, Congo. This kind of help keeps people alive, but it does more. It reminds all concerned that our brotherhood is not merely a thing of words. It is real. Now, you may never have had the opportunity to take part in relief efforts for such extreme cases of distress. Does that mean that you are no part of this work? Not at all. In this troubled world, distress takes many forms. When you visit the sick, when you help out the elderly and infirm, when you take time to comfort a depressed soul, when you take an interest in your brothers and sisters in the faith, you add your own part to the great identifying mark of this brotherhood: love. Nothing is more important to our brotherhood than worshiping Jehovah God. Our places of worship are modest. Still, they are important. As the brotherhood continues to expand, more and more kingdom halls are needed. Recently, that was a problem in Machachi, a city nestled in the mountains of Ecuador.
3, 4 hermanos que tienen conocimiento de la construcción y pueden guiar a los hermanos para que hagan el trabajo. Con la ayuda de los hermanos y nuestra ayuda podemos hacer en menos tiempo. Entonces no tenemos que pagar a nadie.
When all the preparations are complete, a period of intense activity begins.
Muchos hermanos que son empleados o trabajadores seglares han hecho sus arreglos de antemano para sacarse sus días libres y venir a apoyar el trabajo en la obra esta de construir un salón del reino.
Esto es una experiencia muy gozosa, hermanito. Que vengan hermanos de otro lugar a ayudar a construir la casa de adoración de Jehová.
Fue algo muy motivador, nos unió más a nosotros y a Jehová también.
On these projects, there is plenty of work for all the volunteers.
Bueno, se ha visto una linda actitud, gozosa. Todos colaboran, todos están dispuestos, desde el más pequeñito hasta el más grande.
Everyone involved wants the new Kingdom Hall to serve as a good witness to the community.
En el paso, el tiempo de la construcción, hemos escuchado comentarios positivos de la gente. Muchos están admirados de la unidad que existe dentro del pueblo de Jehová, que somos como hormigas, que estamos dispuestos a trabajar constantemente y que dentro de la comunidad quisieran ver a muchas instituciones trabajando en este sentido para conseguir ciertos objetivos.
At last, the job is complete. And the time has come to dedicate the new Kingdom Hall.
Y así, hermanos, este salón del reino se ha dedicado a Jehová.
Eso anhelábamos, ¿no? Tener un nuevo salón donde podamos recibir más gente.
Es un gozo, porque como le digo, no hemos tenido otro lugar. Me van las lágrimas por el gozo.
Gathering together for worship. Just how important is it to our brotherhood? Some governments have found out by outlawing such meetings. Estonia, in Eastern Europe, offers its citizens religious freedom. Our brothers and sisters are now free to meet together for worship. But decades ago, throughout Eastern Europe and Russia, things were far different.
Ja siis see julgeolekumehed KGB-d ütlesid, kus on Jehova, karjus rusikas. Meie teeme, et Eestimaal enam Jehova nimegi ei mäletata. Teie lähete laagrisse, teised Sibirisse, kus on teie Jehova.
Sibirisse küüditati kõigepealt. Siis olin 8-aastane ja see oli 51. aastal. Seal olime 7 aastat. Aga vangistuses olin hiljem 63–66.
Tegevus 51. Kõik saadeti, küüditati üle 300 inimese, minu isa ja ema ja et punkt Jehova nime Eestimaal enam ei mäletata. Ja nii algas meie elus uus elu. Me olime suurtel vene lagendikudel ja aina kuulutasime.
Did this severe persecution put a stop to Christian meetings?
Kokkusaamised olid, aga taad ei olnud sellised suured, see oli ikka väikse gruppide 5 saadi kokku ja arutada asja. Igal kokkutulekul sai kokku lepitud ka koht ja aeg. Ja seda ei saanud isegi suusõnalised öeldud, vaid sageli kirjalikult.
Me näksime mitu tundi sinna kohale. Enne hommikul kella 7 võtsime lapsed, need olid väikesed. Mõnikord, et jõuaks viia, panime kandekotti.
They traveled by bus, then walked for miles.
No umbes 12 tundi kulus ära selle vahitorni uurimise käigu peale iga nädal, kui me tagasi siis jõudsime.
What did the brothers do about literature to study at their meetings?
Uurimise lõpetanud. Alguses meil oli nii, et me ei saanud vahitorne paljundada. Muidu kui kas siis kirjutusmasinaga kopeerida abil või käsitsi paljundades.
But a typewriter was a dangerous thing to own in those days.
Seda ei saanud ka mitte igale poole ohutult peita. Seda võidi miniotsijaga otsida. Nii et puitmajas või mulla alt oleks ta sellist kergesti leitav olnud. Aga mul on pleki katus. Seal korstna juures pleki katuse alla on mul tehtud peedik.
The brothers reproduced literature using their own stencils and hid it all very carefully.
See oligi, millega me nii-öelda vaimselt elasime kõik need aastad üle. Vaatamata selle raskustele, tagakiusamistele ja jälitsemistele.
Change swept across Eastern Europe in the late 1980s and early 1990s. In Estonia, the work was legalized in 1991.
Eriti need, kes aastakümneid olid siin nendes kiinnistes oludes Jehova-tunnistajatena, siis nendel see vabaduse kogemus muidugi oli midagi väga-väga meelt liigutavat.
Free to preach openly at last, the Brotherhood in Estonia and across Eastern Europe and Russia makes every effort to invite the public to attend the Christian meetings. This is especially true at the time of the memorial, the most important meeting of the year. One brother recalls the last time the memorial was held under the ban. It was in his own small home.
Ja siin oli täpselt 60 inimest. Kas sa kujutad ette, 60 inimest istus siin nendes tubades. Ja see oli meie jaoks väga palju. Praegu mitu kogudust ja igas ühes mitusada koos.
Koosolekud läksid hooga käima ja nende rõõm oli nii suur, aga mina isiklikult ja mis minul kõlisesid kogu aja need sõnad Eestimaal enam Jehova nimegi mäletata.
Lundazi in Zambia is an unusual village. Most of the time it stands empty. But for a few weeks each year, the place comes alive. Hundreds of our brothers and sisters travel there for their conventions. Many have walked for 3 days.
Munjira sitima ima ngaitauka kungwe maloti pano tidyere. Ngatadyera basi endeko ngani usiku tigoneko pang'ono kugona chapo kwa maola. Sasa tugone nati kwa maola cha pang'ono magona basi tauka ndi usiku tikuyenda mpaka kucha.
Tukupyukana pakwenda mthupi mukutapatika na katundu. Patafika pale taona vanyitu wosa vimwemwe vikuru na mthupi ngwengwe.
Many arrive early to restore and repair the village. Others gather wood for the countless cook fires that will be needed. Before long, the village is humming with life. The most important work, though, is preparing for the convention itself. At last, the program begins. After the convention comes the long journey home. But these brothers and sisters are accustomed to long walks.
Kwenda pasu kuti kwenda kuti njini chakuziswa yayi. Chifukwa tiri kuwira muno mu Afrika chalo chenecho chikavu. Ndi umwe witi chikondisa vantu vakavu na mtiri kuwira kulije.
Ila kuti tipitirize osabwerera mu mbuyo si kanthu muli mapiri. Si kanthu kuyenda kwa usiku ndi usana. Komabe chimene tifunako ni moyo umene tiri kuyembekeza msogolo.
For another group of witnesses, walking to their district convention is not an option. They live on an island in Lake Chilwa, Malawi.
Tinakhala pasi pa chizuzo pafupi zaka 27 tiri kupemphera usiku okhaokha. Koma pa zifukwa zina zasintha ndipo tikupemphera poyera.
On Lake Chilwa, as in most of rural Africa, the business of surviving day to day consumes a great deal of time and energy.
Moyo wathu wa siku ni siku tinenjo kuti umakhala wovutirapo malo olima ndi oguga komanso ndosakwanira. Komabe ziwa zokagulira zidazo zophera nsombazo zimakhala zovutirapo chifukwa ndizodula.
In spite of difficulties, these brothers find great encouragement in their meetings. Getting to the district convention requires an expedition of sorts.
Kayendedwe pamene kuti wovutikapo kuchokera pano kafika ku misonkhano ndi tunda utali. Komanso vuto lina loya lalikulu ndi kuti timaoloka nyanja. Tikafika pasidya kayendede kathu kamakhala koyenda pa nthawi zina galimoto. Timagwirisira ntchito ena njinga, ena amakwera basi. Komanso tindi ena amene amalolera kuyenda pasi chifukwa cha kusowa.
For some, this convention will be a personal landmark. This small congregation of 62 publishers has 7 candidates for baptism from one side of the island and 3 from the other side.
Kwakuti ena ngakhale afika pa kuyeneresedwa kuti akabatizidwe amafunsabe kuti kodi tipitadi kukabatizidwa ngakhale uli mulungu omwe uno. Kusonyeza kuti ali ndi chidwi.
1 2 3 1 2 3 aya
Mwajidali Lodiona Kristu aza Wanirisa Kifuniro cha Mulungu.
At last, they are at the convention. Their intense desire to be fed spiritually has brought them all this way.
Chimene chimandisangalatsa kwambiri wa misonkhano 1 kuonana ndi nkhope za abale. 2 kupereka ndemanga kwa abale. 3 limodzi ndi nyimbo zachitamando. Ndimaona kusonkhana ndi abale kukhala kofunika moyo wanga kusiyana ndi china chilichonse.
All are delighted as the baptismal candidates stand and voice their resolve to serve Jehovah. These disciples are about to take the most important step of their lives. This day they publicly embrace Jehovah as their rightful sovereign. They also become part of our brotherhood. After their baptism, our 10 new brothers and sisters are ready for their journey home. But their journey as Christians is just beginning. When you journey to your own Christian meetings, you may not meet the same challenges, but you have your own challenges to face. We all do. Despite all obstacles, we are there at our meetings, week after week. Why? The reason is simple. For the same reason, our brothers and sisters are deeply touched when they get to attend meetings again after years under ban.
Olin iga koosolek ja iga konvent, see oli minu jaoks nii suur emotsionaalsus, et mina ainult ütlen Jehova, Jehova, tänupalve ja pisarad jooksevad.
For the same reason, we are moved to help our brothers and sisters in need.
この機会を通して本当に世界中の兄弟たちにお伝えしたいのは、いろんな援助をしてくださったそのことに対して本当に感謝することができます。その一言につきます。もちろんこうした組織の中に私を導いてくださったエホバに感謝することはもちろんのことです。
For the same reason, we preach faithfully whenever and however we can.
When you have the opportunity to give these people a message that some of them have never had before, even though they've had a Bible, that is the peak of privilege and a wonderful honor.
For the same reason, we dedicated our lives to Jehovah. It may be years since we became part of this brotherhood, but our reason for doing so has only grown stronger. It is the simplest thing. We love Jehovah, so we love to learn about Him and to teach others about Him. And we love the people Jehovah loves. When we help them out in times of need, we do not expect God to thank us. We thank God. This brotherhood He has given us is a gift that touches our hearts. Every passing day gives us more reasons to have love for our whole association of brothers.